How have you all been out there? I know it's been a while, and I sincerely appreciate your patience from the bottom of my vampire heart. I appreciate your patience because I know you're probably angry at me. Right now, you probably think of me like George R. Martin, who still hasn't come out with The Winds of Winter. And that's what you thought about this podcast. You just thought I was going to screw you and screw you and screw you. But at long last, here we are. We got a brand new episode of the You're Still Here podcast. And here's the good news. You know, when there's a little while in between episodes, it's a quality over quantity thing. Now I have a wealth of topics, stories, content to choose from that have taken place over the last couple of months. It's kind of like when you used to watch the UFC or you used to watch the WWF. There was 3 or 4 pay-per-views a year. You knew you were only getting those quality matches, those quality fights, or the college football playoff. Remember when it was 4 teams? You got 2 great games in there. It was only 2 teams a few years before that. Now there's 28 teams. You don't have to watch. There's nothing good until the very end. Well, this is going to be one of those shows where I got some stories and I got some things to go through. You want me to start you with a quick story? I mean, this one, I don't know where this lies on the scale. I mean, this isn't hard. This isn't like a World War II level story here. It has to do with The Price is Right. So it's, let's just say it's on the lighter side. But you guys look around my studio, you obviously know that I love adding things. I'm going to talk about some of these things. I'm always looking to upgrade, always looking to make things a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and I'll never decline any sort of upgrade that I deem cool or want around here as I'm filming these things. So with that said, I log on to Twitter. This is like a month or 2 ago. And I see somebody that I've done some shows with, like on the sports stuff, and I see that he's at Costco, and he uploads a picture like, wow, never knew that they had ... with a picture of a huge Plinko game. The Price is Right Plinko. They now have like an official reproduction of it that they sell at Costco. And I see that, and you guys know where I stand on the Price is Right scale. You've seen the big wheel up there on the Scamtron many times for previous podcasts or if you watch my hockey videos. So never have I seen an actual Plinko board. Everyone's tried to like rig their own Plinko board. It never works out. So now I'm on Twitter. I see that there's an official Plinko game and they're selling it at Costco. And I'm like, I need that in here, even if I can't find the Plinko. If Plinko's out there, I just got to have it because you never know when you're going to need Plinko. You can add that to your list of quotes that are ridiculous. You never know when you're going to need Plinko. And I decided that I needed it right now. So what's the first thing you do? You go to Costco.com. You see if you can kind of weasel something. But as you probably know, I've never been a Costco guy. Oh, my God. But do you know who is? The Costco guy. Are they finally fading out?
Andy, you got a big boom!
Did they finally hit the final
boom?
Was it one booms too many for the Costco guys?
Andy has a YouTube channel.
That's a big
boom!
Well, I'm not a Costco guy, nor will I ever be, which is why I did not qualify to purchase this Plinko board that I wanted. So I'm sitting there thinking, how the hell am I going to get this Plinko board? I'm sure there's a scam. My friend told me there's a scam to be a temporary Costco card guy, something with like a coupon for a discount that can't. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't going to go that route. But here's what I did remember. If you're lazy and slightly overweight and have been slacking like me for the last couple of years, you may know something called Instacart. If you don't know what that is because you're a civilized, somewhat normal individual who gets your own groceries, Instacart is like Uber Eats for groceries. Somebody goes to a grocery store and then they get what you want. You shop what you want for online, and then it literally shows you so-and-so is shopping as you're sitting on your couch like a piece of garbage. And this person's doing the shopping for you. And I remember when I used that, I was like, something tells me Costco was on there. I remember something Costco. So I open Instacart. Sure enough, Costco's on there. And I go to Costco. I open up Costco in Instacart. And if you don't believe me and you don't think this is real, do it. And I typed Plinko. I typed Plinko on the Instacart app. And what shows up? Plinko. So there's, lettuce, milk, dairy, poultry, Plinko. And it's available to add to my cart. So my scam here, and this won't count as a scam of the week, was I ordered Plinko through a grocery app. And the way it works, somebody, just kind of like Uber, you get matched with someone, they go get your groceries and bring it to you, and then that's that, whatever, that's the service. But then I was thinking, wait a minute. Can this person fit a Plinko board in their car? Oh, God, I was waiting until they showed me who was going to pick it up. I was hoping, oh, come on, a guy with a truck, hopefully. And who is it? Like some mother, and then I immediately felt bad. I'm like, oh my God, this woman has to go pick up a Plinko board for me. And then I don't know if you feel like, but just the thought of this mom pulling into Costco, she had to ask someone, like, do you know where can I find Plinko? And this poor lady had to bring Plinko to my house, and I was so embarrassed that I saw her and the bright colors of Plinko through the door, and I hid behind my couch because I couldn't face her. I couldn't face her being the guy who was like, I ordered the Plinko. I was the one. Oh, is it for your? Yeah, they're in school. So I didn't. I cowered it out, and I let her leave the Plinko on my front door. So you get sent a picture of the groceries, just like Uber or DoorDash, where, the app shows you a little picture, your order's here. Well, I got your order's here with a big Plinko on my front porch. And quite honestly, look around. There have been some funny deliveries to my front porch, and I'm actually going to talk about another one of them in just a minute. But I ordered Plinko, and a poor woman had to bring it to my front door. So that's the hard-hitting story that we will start you with. Before ordering Plinko, I went to Southern California where, I don't know, I could have partaken in a real game of Plinko. My friend used to work on The Price is Right. I actually went on a vacation with Drew. Does that disqualify me for Plinko? Because I have an inside. Anyway, didn't go to The Price is Right, although I have been in the past. And I went out there for a couple different reasons. Went to see some of my old friends. I obviously lived in Southern California. I had a box suite to the Ducks Islanders game, went to the Islanders Kings game. So it was a great time out there. Now I have my friend, one of my best friends, who's like, dude, you got to stay with me, man. You got to stay with me. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Here's the problem. In the last year, the woman moved in with him. That's fine. That's normal. However, you can't be staying with friends who have that kind of dynamic now. And I know, maybe it's a me thing, but when we were watching a movie on the couch, are we just being truly normal? Because if we talk a little too loud about the wrong, that warden is a couple rooms over. So I'm never really a huge fan of staying with someone when they're like a couple who's a room or two and you're just sitting in the room like a dirtbag by yourself. So you want to know what I do in all those situations? I stay just because they ask. You heard of overstaying your welcome? I understay my welcomes. Just know that. I'm not staying with random people drinking their Lipton iced tea or eating whatever they have. They might not care at all, but it's me. I just feel guilty. I feel like I'm just evaporating all their resources. You take a shower and you just put the towel down over there. Who's washing that towel? Oh, yeah, that's right, them. So I literally left in under 24 hours. I got there that night. I stayed with them. The next afternoon, when my friend was in work, I was done. I left. And I did the right thing, and I went to my hotel. I understayed my welcome. You'll always be criticized for overstaying your welcome. Nobody will ever criticize you for understaying your welcome. And that's my advice. That's my advice. Always understay your welcome so that nobody ever has anything bad to say. And do the civilized thing like I did. Get yourself a hotel. laugh because the hotel has added an and spa at the end of their hotel to make you think you're in some sort of luxurious destination. Anytime there's like an and spa, you notice people try to like give off a namaste vibe a little bit more as they're walking around the place. Part of what I do when I walk into hotels is like I peruse the whole property to see what they got. Oh, they got this there. Oh, they got that there. Only to never do any of them. Like I want to see all the things they have that I'm absolutely not going to do regardless. So as I was walking around, I perused into the spa area. You know, the brown wooden bamboo and all that stuff. And then I get up to that front desk where there are three women just behind the desk, like White Lotus style, just waiting for me to approach. And they have that semi smile on. I was like, oh, hello. I was looking to inquire about some of the services here, about the massage. Is there a menu of sorts? And they pointed down at the front desk. There was a QR code to scan for the menu. And here's a little trivia question for you. How many times have you ever scanned a QR code or been told to scan a QR code and behind that code was cheap prices waiting for you? A place is thrilled to advertise a $9 massage if they had it. As soon as that woman pointed at the QR code, I did $7,000 for a back scratch. So always remember that. No menu, no massage. I didn't get the massage, but there were other things that brought me happiness while I was on that trip because not just the Islander games that I had planned, not just seeing my friends, there was something somewhat of a karmic moment. You know, if you believe in all of those, putting the energy and throwing the boomerang. If you look behind me, you will notice that there is a hockey game that has wrestling figures from the 1990s on it. And if you're listening to this, just so you know, you can watch it on Spotify, and the video episode is also available on YouTube. That's not a plug, but that's how you can know what I'm talking about right now in the back of my video. I obviously host a popular hockey show, so I look for the best hockey decorations. As you've heard on this podcast and other shows, I always make wrestling references, 90s, 2000s wrestling references. Well, when I was a kid, there was a hockey game with wrestlers on it called like Superstars Hockey. And this thing is impossible to find. You cannot find this thing anywhere. Maybe you could find some rickety old used versions that really aren't worth it. So last June, when I made a few shekels during the Stanley Cup, I made it a point. I said, I'm going to find this thing. I am going to get this thing one way or another by hook or by crook. And it turns out that on eBay, there was just this one brand new version of it where this prick has just been holding on. He's got it for $6,000 on there, and I'm obviously not paying that because that also defeats the purpose. When you go on a bunker dig for something, you need to feel like you came out on top. So I went through all my time. I'm not buying that on eBay. I looked for alternate listings, someone who maybe had it, but they didn't know what they had and they didn't list it properly. Wrestling, hockey, 90s wrestling, hockey game. Couldn't find it anywhere. I went to like these old toy stores from around the country, their online catalog. I found one or two used ones, but they were garbage. I wanted it fresh. So luck would have it that I searched Craigslist, and I literally just hit national search every Craigslist bunker there is. And it turns out that one guy had a listing. On that listing, it says the box, the exterior of the box has some damage, but other than that, this has been not opened. And then I see the city that it's in right above it. And where is it? 20 minutes from the hotel that I'm staying at, the one with the absurd massage prices. So if you believe like, oh my God, the retrograde moon and the horoscopes, and put it out there, just put the energy out there. You want to make the NBA? It doesn't matter if you're 5'4", put the energy out there. It will come back to you. Last June, I put it out there And what do you know? The Craigslist listing, and I went to this guy's house. I went there, I picked it up, and what do you know? I have myself an unopened, brand new 1991 WWF Superstars Wrestling hockey game. And you see it behind me right now, but it didn't just get here on its own. I had to send this thing here from California, and that wasn't an easy process, but I was contemplating pulling a scam that I came across online, and I guess this will qualify as our scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
So this was all a scam, huh?
Now, I don't know if this actually works. When I give you guys a scam of the week, typically I am the originator of the scam. I can verify the authenticity of my scams. But when it comes to something like this and I see something online, I'm always more weary that one of these scams actually works. Well, this one's actually fascinating. It's the return address scam, where you put the return address as the place that you actually want to send something.
You put the address where it's going to on the back of the envelope, and you put your address on the front, and then you don't put a stamp on it, so it gets returned to the address on the back.
Oh,
That's
I actually don't mind that.
Yeah. So you never have to pay for stamps again.
I mean, they're not going to throw the thing out. It's definitely going somewhere. Don't know if it works, but I should have tried it, just not with an item like this that I would never be able to get. But I will get back to you on if that works. It's the return from sender scam. And that's what I was contemplating doing with this game back here. But eventually it made it back here. But it didn't just show up like this. It didn't show up like a pristine, perfectly put together game. I actually had to do that. And do you think that was an easy process? If you hear how I talk and you hear the way my mind works and how it's all over the place, do you think I like sitting down in a spot and slowly putting something together like that game behind me?
I'm gonna open boxes like it's 1991.
As you can notice, there are some stickers on the side, on the rink, all over the place. There's over 50 stickers on that thing. And how sticky do you think they were after sitting in a box since the early 1990s? Do you think that adhesive was fresh and ready to go? The back of those stickers had more nuclear fallout than Chernobyl. They were purple and green. I don't know what. I will die 4 weeks earlier because I had to assemble that thing behind me. I will show you what the back of those stickers looked like. They weren't even really sticky anymore, but there was some nuclear ooze coming off of that. So if I grow a third ear, just know it's from that game back there, but I'll still say it might be worth it because look at that thing. It is pretty crisp if you ask me. So there I was. Obviously the adhesive, yeah, it's somewhat sticky, but those things are going to start peeling off before you know it. So I'm sitting there with a mini brush of Gorilla Glue, and I am slowly touching the bottom of these adhesives and then slowly pressing them on to this game, and then using some Hodgepodge, the clear version, because I didn't want too much shimmer, and I'm just slowly going over the edges so they don't peel back.
Crazy gluing those edges. You got to see what's happened. It looks like Chernobyl on this thing.
And then I'm literally using AI. How do I make sure a 90s sticker with nuclear fallout can stay stuck?
And I'm getting those corners because I know they want to peel.
And there I am, slowly apply. How's that for some ASMR videos? I should have done that while I was putting that damn thing together. And I did take some video, and then I just like, oh, this is too long. I don't know how people do these 24-hour time-lapse videos.
Classic Gorilla Glue. What happened to Crazy Glue? Did they lose their stronghold on the brand?
But I assembled that thing, and I put every last sticker on. Every crevice was pressed down, and one sticker was legitimately crumpled up.
We're going to have to iron this one out.
And I took a towel and an iron and ironed it out so it was flat again. So it was somewhat of a lengthy process, and I was actually proud of myself because I can assure you I typically just rush through things like that. But I guess when you wait a year and you send it back to yourself, you did a lot of work not to just take your time with it. And the ultimate result ended up being exactly what I wanted. I got my decoration. There was no buyer's remorse, and you can see it behind me. And now that task is complete. But there will be more to come on that topic. It's not my final purchase, I will tell you that. There are some other ones on the horizon. And one last thing that I want to tell you about that hotel was I had to go with the car. They forced you to valet the car, but they say, don't worry, you can call the front desk and then let them know they'll have the car waiting for you. So by the time you're downstairs, the car's waiting for you, blah, blah, blah. However, there's no phone in the room. Nowadays, some hotels, they're removing phones from the room. Why? Because they're actually just using the scale. Oh, well, people don't really use landlines anymore. Yeah, that's at my house to your house. So now how many fewer calls do you think they have to deal with because they got rid of that quick pick up the phone, hit the concierge? How many people are going to now dig the number to the hotel, then get transferred to the front desk, then say, oh, this so-and-so from room so-and-so. Oh, yeah, I can confirm. Okay, we'll get your car. I know what you're doing over there, hotel and spa. Oh, what are you're going to hide behind the spa again? Oh, we don't think that phones. Are you going to go White Lotus on me with that? Yeah, so no phones in the hotel and spas these days. So after the trip concluded and we continued to have some good times, like I said, I went to both of those hockey games, and then I actually went to Arizona after that, and then I came back to the East Coast. And between LA and Arizona and many places on the West Coast, you guys know what Waymo is? Because it's becoming quite popular out there. They are driverless cars, like driverless cabs, Ubers, and whatnot, that take you places, and they are fully driverless. You are getting picked up by a robot car and being dropped off in a robot car. And the first thing, I'll say something nice before I say something not nice, is that they're actually better than regular drivers. Like, they're not slow. They do what they're supposed to do. They eke out into the middle of the lane so that they can catch a light. So that was pleasantly surprising. However, if you know me, you know I'm a little skeptical of technology, let's say. You guys kind of know how I treat many of these things. You think that I'm having real conversations in one of those Waymos? I've already told you that car companies, they got caught. They got caught for when people buy cars and then just hit accept to the terms on their screen, that they were selling that information to car insurance companies who then knew how fast you drove and then jacked up your insurance rates without telling you, all because you just hit agree on your iTunes things and you lost your firstborn and you lost all your information and then your insurance went up. So you already know these car companies are pulling scams and just weaseling your data left and right. You think I have faith in that Waymo? Now remember, if there's an issue in the Waymo, you just start talking and you're connected with somebody.
Are you in San Francisco?
The call has been routed to one of Waymo's satellite offices.
Oh, I see. So can you see us right now?
Yeah, we have cameras situated across the vehicle just to make sure that we have a good view of the riders.
So they can clearly hear what you're saying in there. So I have full fake conversations in there. I have fake conversations with nobody or whoever I'm with that aren't even real, just so the records of that are out there, and they have conversations of a guy who's normal, does good things, donates to charity, goes to soup kitchens. That's what I'm talking about. Like, oh, thank God we can go to this Islanders game, man. So nice that Jim volunteered the soup kitchen tonight. I mean, I would have stayed till 1 a.m. I might live there now. Yeah, I'm going to live at the soup kitchen after tonight. Those are the type of conversations I'm having in Waymos. Okay, my whole existence now is to fool all these algorithms and listening devices. I swear to you, we are in a Black Mirror alternate version of like Soviet Russia. Like, I've heard stories about how NHL GMs, when they wanted to take a Russian player back when it was the Soviet Union, they'd go there, they'd meet the guy. It was in a hotel room, and they would have to write notes to communicate what they wanted to say on paper because the room was bugged, everything was bugged. That's kind of where we're at now. It's 80s Russia, 80s Soviet Union.
I got the impression, certainly by his eyes and an interpreter, that my room was wired.
The room was bugged 100%. It's no questions. We try to, use the fingers to communicate.
Our communication was going to be by paper and pencil. Conversations were saying nothing. It was the notes that were being passed back and forth that was saying everything.
Anybody and everybody's listening. Your TV's listening. This person, I saw this video on TikTok, and I know all you people know about this now. I'm starting to see it more and more. We all know about how, okay, you talk to your friend, I was thinking about getting a Jeep. And then what happens? You start seeing Jeep advertisements. That's something that we've all just quickly accepted in the last couple of years. But it's getting way weirder than that. It's turning into mind control. I saw this video of this girl who said she literally was thinking about something that she still hasn't had a single conversation about. And she saw like a color. Oh, that's what it was. It was like a paint color that she wanted for her house. Never told anybody yet, and was shown that actual paint color as a suggestion in some of her ads that came by her profile. For me, I will tell you one. I have had a janky shoulder recently. I tried working out, classic, kind of hurt myself a little bit. So when I fall asleep and I end up on my stomach, I know I'm supposed to sleep on my back. Sometimes I fall asleep on my back and then magically I end up on my stomach. When I fall asleep on my stomach, your arm goes like this and my shoulder crunches and it hurts. So I've been having some shoulder pain, and I don't mind saying it now. You want to know why? Because on Instagram, I'm being shown ads for a pillow for people who have shoulder pain when they sleep on their stomach and roll their shoulders. I haven't told anybody, and it's showing me this magic TheraPillow for bad left shoulders. So look, you're going to go that way. If you're that deep in the trenches, then I'm writing fake emails. I'm living a fake life to fake people. All right. People say like, oh, be careful what you say. You better have your VPN. You better clear that search history. That's why I have fake searches for things I'm never going to do, just to throw off the board when they have to debate whether they're going to take me down and the big takedown of who's a scumbag and who's not. Oh, yeah, that soup kitchen every other night I'm Googling. I try to wash out my disgusting Google searches with all these Blues Clues PG Google searches. That way they think I'm some semblance of a normal individual. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing fake things all the time just to throw off whatever this alternate fake universe is that we're in. The Matrix or the simulation, whatever the hell they call it. Just carry around a pen and paper. That's what you need to do. Carry around a pen and paper, just like those people who went to 80s Soviet Russia and had to communicate with the hockey players, and write in cursive, and not like regular cursive where the cameras can see you, like that Naruto cursive, some janky cursive. That's kind of how we have to communicate our real thoughts to you. You have full Cyberdyne, Skynet Terminator style. That's where we're at. Aren't you excited? Anyway, after that concluded and we took our autonomous cabs, we made our way back and we flew. And typically look, everybody has their pet peeves about flying. There are 7 million things that you can complain about. I've complained about Lord knows how many on the show already. But I got to almost apologize to the original people that I've made fun of for decades, and that is the plane clappers. We know these people. The plane lands, they're clapping. The plane clappers, very simple. And I always used to say, like, well, what are you doing? So this guy just flew you from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. Now you're giving him a clap. Do you clap for all professions? When your garbage man shows up on Monday morning, are you out there on your front stoop just clapping? Because you clap for all or you don't clap at all. Don't just give this guy a clap because he flew you. He just, he pressed his gas, landed, got you from point A to point B. That's what he's supposed to do. Did you clap for the lady who checked you in? Well, if you didn't clap for her, don't clap for him. And I kind of have to lighten that stance a little bit because as you've seen in the last couple of months, maybe the last year now, we're seeing a lot of follies with these landings of flights. We're seeing planes flip upside down. We're seeing Newark Airport kind of having to be shut down. We're seeing a bunch of near misses. What is going on with flying? I have to revisit my stance. It's not guaranteed that you're landing fine anymore. So I got to admit it. I think I might clap the next time my plane successfully lands. That's what you got to do. I mean, there's a legitimate risk now. I've told you about the donkification where people just don't know rudimentary things anymore. The donkification has made its way to aviation. Pilots just apparently can't fly planes anymore. They're just crashing right into the floor, and that's it. Nowadays, Sully on the Hudson, no, it's going a different way these days, but I think I'm going to be clapping now. If my flight lands, I'm going to be clapping, or else on the way down, you better start saying a prayer. And now your prayer actually has a chance, because the Pope might send it to the big guy. You want to know why? Because the Pope is probably like you. He's American. The Pope is from Chicago. How do you know that? Because there's footage of him at the 2005 World Series in a Chicago White Sox jacket. I'm sorry. This whole Pope thing doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't. It doesn't. When I think of the Pope, it obviously transcends America, which has been here for 25 minutes. How can the Pope be from a place that wasn't even here 10 minutes ago? When I think of somebody who's supposed to be representing the church and the whole religion, I mean, I have to feel like this guy has been in some sort of dark place with candles, going through endless scrolls. For decades, he's been prepped for this. His whole life was meant for this moment. Him being the Pope. He can't be some guy who went to Villanova and tailgated and ended up at keg parties. I'm sorry. If you guys remember when I got home from Italy, I said, you know what? They say the churches are beautiful. I didn't go in the churches because I felt like a fraud. Over there, it felt authentic. It felt like people truly, they lived by the gospel. They did what they were supposed to do. Not like, I don't mind going into one of these churches here and visiting with our fraud style of, one toe in, one toe out religion. I feel like they really do things by the book over there. And me going in there, I feel like they would feel like a little gremlin. I feel like, what is that? What presence has just entered here? Like, that's why I didn't go. I didn't want to go in any of those places. Now, knowing that guy's at the head, I'll go in there with a crooked Yankees hat. And I feel like when I get to the front, he'll be like, what's the matter? They didn't have any White Sox hats available? I can't do it. I just, this guy, like the Chicago White Sox, I think they're putting like a mural of him up and out in the outfield. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Not confessing to some guy from Chicago. I can't do it.
The Bears.
The
Bears.
I have, however, watched a fair amount of these, like Russell Crowe. I mean, there have been a lot of these Popish type of movies recently. But you know me, I'm always watching these horror movies. And I've actually mentioned many times before my love for horror movies. I mean, just look around. We got Freddy Krueger's glove right behind me. I used to kid. I think I've brought this up before once. And the key where I used to kid, I don't kid anymore, that the opening scene of the movie Scream 2, and I know this is available on YouTube, you could look it up, it's the most preposterous depiction of going to the movie theater that you will ever see in your life anywhere. It was a comic book, cartoon level depiction of attending the first night of a movie being out in theaters. So the movie that they're going to see in the opening scene of Scream 2 is a movie called Stab, which is essentially that movie's version of the movie Scream. Like the movie in a movie. So they're going to see a movie called Stab, which is a horror movie with Ghostface. And do you know how the entire movie theater is behaving? More than half of the audience is dressed up in full Ghostface attire. So they're going to be watching a movie with the full Ghostface mask on. They're sprinting at full speed up and down the aisles with, you'd imagine, fake knives. All fake stabbing people. People they don't even know. They're running across the aisle. fake stabbing people as if this would. I've been to many horror movies. No one has ever sprinted by me in the costume of the Wolfman and then threatened to eat me alive like he's a Wolfman. Yet that's what was happening in this opening scene of Scream 2. People were taking fistfuls of popcorn and launching them across rows as if that's actually something that happens when going, it doesn't matter, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And then there's a little time I like to call the 2020s. Well, I have to apologize to Scream 2 because I made fun of you. But you know how they say, like, oh, well, The Simpsons The Simpsons predicted this. The Simpsons predicted the president. The Simpsons predicted Schwarzenegger was a governor. Well, we may have to give Scream 2 some credit because I saw some videos of this Minecraft movie that's out there. And they made the Scream 2 movie opening look tame. I don't know what the hell's going on as kids or whoever watching this movie. It's like if you close your eyes, you'd think you were at WrestleMania. People are going wild. It's a war zone in there. Actually, maybe WrestleMania is not the best kind of analogy because if they were watching WrestleMania, it'd probably be extremely quiet. But let's just imagine you were in like the Battle of Helm's Deep. And it's just part of the donkification. I hear stories about like a kid just full blast speakerphone TikTok on a plane, doesn't give a rat's ass, zero self-awareness, full donkification. And I gotta say, I'm sorry to Scream 2. You were ahead of your time. People were gonna act like absolute imbeciles and derelicts. You knew it. You showed us. I should have listened. And now anybody can see that when they go watch this Minecraft movie. But then again, I guess that's better than this woman who watched the Final Destination movie in Argentina. Did you guys see that? Speaking of horror movies, this woman, kudos to her. I love going to see horror movies. I love when the theater is empty. But she went to watch the new Final Destination movie, and then the ceiling caved in on her like it was the movie Final Destination. In Final Destination, death is like this energy thing, and if it thinks it's your time to go, it can take this microphone, clock me in the head, and then I knock out and something rolls me and electrocutes me. And death can kind of do that. It can kind of artificially do some things to make sure you're dead. And when you're watching a movie like that and the ceiling caves in on you, oh, I hope she survived, by the way. But after that movie's got themselves a believer. I mean, I think they should make a movie about that movie, and then the opening scene will be more preposterous than the opening scene of Scream 2, which is no longer actually as preposterous. But outside of that, with the summer essentially now here, we are in June. We're going to do the same thing we always do, try to get ourselves in shape, not do it as well as we should, and then open up Instacart, order Plinko, and then a bunch of groceries because we are lazy rat bastards. As I try to get in the gym, even though I have this bum shoulder that I'm getting advertisements for a pillow that I didn't even know existed, and I'm scared to click on because they're going to just get in my thoughts even more. I've been trying to weasel my way to the gym, and I have a gym idea. I mean, this is a really basic idea. I'm surprised more don't do it. Gyms got to hire attractive women just to stand in the proximity of men. And then you will see how drastically those men's workout improve. Watch the time between sets. Watch how many reps they're doing. Watch their intensity because it is just a full 180. You watch and it can't be an employee. They can't know that it's an employee of the gym because then it doesn't count. But if a guy thinks there's just a random, relatively attractive woman in his proximity, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger training for Mr. Olympia. He is blasting sets. He's got all the energy in the world. That girl walks away. Ew. So I think that's a pretty good idea, just to get people going. Throw those attractive women in there. I mean, I don't think attractive women need a low salary job like this, but you never know. I'm sure you could find a couple. You want to know the worst part about that, by the way? The only thing worse than being awful at working out is going back because you forgot your AirPods there. And there's a certain window into someone's soul. And that window is right through an empty AirPod case, because there are certain things that will let you know who someone truly is. And the inside of an AirPod case is exactly that. The way this lady looked at me when I returned for my AirPod case, I know she looked inside, and I can never look at her again. I can't. There are certain things that are never meant to be seen. There are certain secrets nobody's ever supposed to know. There are things we are supposed to be buried with. And the knowledge of what's in each of our AirPod cases is one of those things. So that's kind of how I'm going to leave you on this episode. No, I have more to talk about, but now that I have more time to put more of these out, I'll save a little bit for you. But I was happy to be back. Hopefully I gave you some stuff that you enjoyed here. And I look forward to the next episode, which I promise you will be a whole hell of a lot sooner than this one was after the previous one. As I mentioned earlier, these video episodes are now available on Spotify. So if you want to watch, you can get that there. Then make sure you're subscribed on whatever platform you're listening on. And then I will be back with you for the next episode of the You're Still Here podcast. As always, thrilled you guys enjoy it. Thrilled you guys made it to the end. Always happy to have you. And I will see you for the next episode. Take it easy.